Forest have got a better squad than Tottenham. They're being a bit naive in thinking that they're the top 16. They're not. They're miles off it.
Is he the number 10 that Arsenal do need now?
I don't think he's been good enough this season. I think with Declan, watching him over the last 4 weeks, you can see he's getting animated. You know, he wants to win that much. It's not helping him. For some reason, I just couldn't pronounce his name.
Go on, have you learnt it now?
I'm not even trying. I called him Stoke, I think.
Yes, you did. Well, I think there's only one place to start this week's episode, isn't there? The title race, starting off with the North London derby. Firstly, Wayne, as a game, it didn't really disappoint, did it? It was good.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think Arsenal showed the class, obviously, throughout the game. Tottenham, they're just not a good team. I think
we're 10 seconds in and he's gone. He's gone
for it.
No,
I just don't think they're a good team. And, you know, you're talking about them being a big six club, and actually, if you go through the squad and the players, man for man, they're probably in a position where they should be. So obviously it's a big club, and obviously a nice new stadium, nice training ground, but I just don't think the players are good enough to compete at the top end of the Premier League. So they're probably in a position they should be.
There's so much we can go into from an Arsenal point of view, but let's pick up on this Spurs thing, because Wayne, I can tell from your face, it's almost paining you. I suppose we've always known Spurs as this top six club. They're now 4 points outside the relegation zone, and they've got to be looking over their shoulders, haven't they? We've said it for a while. West Ham have picked up 11 points in their last 6 games. Just how concerned are you about them being relegated?
I'm not concerned.
No. Oh, how big a concern is it? I know you're not concerned, but how big a concern is it for the Spurs fans then? How seriously should they be taking the possibility of relegation?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I don't think they'll get relegated. I think for West Ham to pick up the point needed would be difficult. But they're down there, and they were there last season. A little bit closer to the relegation zone this season, so yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they're just about good enough to not get relegated. But it is a big worry, obviously, with Daniel Levy leaving the club, and Ange last year, in the last summer, and then Thomas Frank as well. I think it's a big concern for the club and where it goes, whether it stays in the Premier League or not, because, you know, Tottenham over the last 15 or so years have been towards the top end of the table, and they've spent a lot of money on the stadium, and they have, to be fair, they've spent money on players, maybe not the salaries, but so they have spent a lot of money. So if they get relegated, I think that's a big worry for them.
But I don't think they've bought well, to be honest with you. Like, if you look at a few years ago, they had Son and Harry Kane, players that are like, well, I mean, Harry Kane's world class, but they haven't been able to replace those players with anybody of the same sort of caliber, and I think that's been a massive part of it as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I was watching the Forest Liverpool game today, and Forest have got a better squad than Tottenham. I think so, and obviously they're in a similar position in the league. So I think they're being a bit naive as whether that's the fans or the club in thinking that they're the top 16. They're not. They're miles off it.
Were you surprised at Igor Tudor being the man that they've decided to go with? He hasn't got any Premier League experience, of course.
Yeah, I think he's done it over in Italy, hasn't he, quite a bit, where he's gone in to save teams from getting relegated, and but the Premier League is completely different, and yeah, so surprised. But who else is there out there? Robbie Keane, he keeps getting overlooked for some reason. He's done a fantastic job in the places he's been.
I was going to say that, Wayne. Do you not think Robbie Keane would have probably been, I mean, not to make a comparison, but like their version of Michael Carrick? I think at this point in time, because it's so toxic in there, you almost want somebody that loves the club, because, like you said, who is out there to take this job on? And all the top managers are probably going to wait to the summer where they know what's going to happen with Tottenham anyway.
Robbie Keane, he's done a fantastic job in where he's been and at the clubs he's been at, and I think you look at it and you think that he gets overlooked by Celtic all the time, and this time by Tottenham, when potentially he could have been a good fit. But the manager who's come in, good luck to him. I thought he spoke well yesterday. in his press conference. But he's got a tough job on his hands to try and keep them and try and get them further up the table for sure.
Yeah, also the fact that they've got so many injuries, 11 players out, I think it is at the moment, and it doesn't look like any of them are going to return like immediately. So yeah, lots of worrying signs.
Well, they need to look at the backroom staff and the physios and the sports science, and because sports science are the first to tell you that they've got players on the training pitch, and they've had players fit and ready to train and ready to play in so many games. But when you've Ange had it last season with a lot of players at Tottenham, they've had it this season, so there's something clearly not right there. They need to check the training pitches, the hotel beds where they're staying, whatever it is, to try and fix it, and the activation before training sessions. I think it'd be a real concern, and I think for any manager going in there, that's got to be one of the first things you look at.
Okay, do you think Tottenham are going to get relegated?
My Spurs mates think they are, but look, I mean, it's going to be a massive loss to the Premier League, I think. I mean, whatever you say about them, it is a big club, and I just think it's going to be a shame if they do, because look at that big stadium, and they're going to be playing games in a championship in that. But I don't think they're going to be relegated. I think they're going to find some sort of form. They're going to get the points that they need. If you look at all the clubs,
Tottenham, West Ham, Forest, Leeds,
yeah,
they're all big clubs. So one of them is going to go.
Do you know what the most Spursy thing is going to be? If they somehow manage to nick a Champions League win, like, and end up playing in a Championship and a Champions League at the same time.
I don't think you have to worry about that. There's no chance. There's no chance there with the Champions League.
One player, of course, Spurs were in for, thought they were going to potentially sign, was Eberechi Eze. We've already touched upon him, and it's been incredibly painful. Not only did they miss out on the signing of him, but he once again was the difference today. As you've already said, it's interesting, isn't it, Wayne? Where he fits into this Arsenal side. He's had to bide his time. He played against Brentford the other week, was taken off early. His mentality is incredible, it seems like, to be able to step up in these big games. Is he the number 10 that Arsenal do need now?
Well, I disagree a bit, because I don't think he's been good enough this season.
Do you not?
No, I think the two Tottenham games, have shined a big light on him, and obviously he scored the 3 in the first game and 2 today, but in other games I've watched, I don't think he's been good enough. So, and yet I think a lot of that is through, not playing consistently. It's difficult to come in and out of the team. I get that. But yeah, I think when you talk about character and mentality, then he needs to, if I was him, obviously I'm not, but if I was him, I'd be making it very difficult for the manager to leave you out, or trying to anyway, and with performances or how you're training. And clearly, he's not doing enough to warrant a place in the team consistently. And I get that Ødegaard is the captain, and it's difficult to leave the captain out of the team, but you've got to make it almost impossible for Arteta. I think now he's after the last Tottenham game, I don't think he'd done enough when he played after that to stay in the team, and so you just hope now that he plays better consistently over the next few games to stay in the team.
Yeah, has he done enough for you today? Do you think now he warrants that chance to kind of build on it?
He definitely wants the chance to play in the next game, that's for sure. So it's on him. It's up to him. But I just think he needs to perform a little bit better than he has this season.
Something that's also going to be on his mind, Kay, and is on the mind of every player who their national team are going to the World Cup, is the World Cup. Eze is in a position where England have kind of got a bit of an embarrassment of riches almost, really. He's got that on his mind as well. Tuchel was there today too. He needs to play well now to ensure he's in the squad going to the USA in the summer. Yeah,
I mean, I just think we're in that situation where it used to be the number 9s where we had like so much talent, but I just think now there's so many talented players in that position. He's going to have to do something really special from now to the end of the season. Like Wayne pointed out, he's been inconsistent and he's expected more from him. I think, yes, I mean, it's great that Thomas Tuchel was there today to see it, but I think Thomas Tuchel's not a silly man. He's going to be looking at the season as a whole, and there's so much talent in that position, like Jude Bellingham as well, and like there's endless names that you can bring up.
I think on that though, I think if you look at the big name players in that position, you know, you've got Jude, you've got Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, even Anthony Gordon from a wide Eze. None of them have really had a great season this year, and probably the standout too is of late over the last few weeks, Nico O'Reilly and Morgan Rogers, who were probably at the start of the season would be probably the last two picks.
But do you not think there are some players that when they get on a big stage, that's when they sort of like turn it up?
Yeah, I think Jude is the one for me from that point of view. I love Phil Foden as a player, but I think in big moments, Jude has big moments in games, and he can be the difference. So he for me has to go in, and even if he doesn't start the tournament, I'm pretty sure he'll finish it.
Do you reckon Eze's going to go though?
I'm not sure. I think what Eze does give you, he gives you, you know, he can play out wide as well. He can play off the left, and he can play as a 10. Anthony Gordon can play off the left. He's been playing as a 9 in recent weeks. O'Reilly can play in a number of positions. So yeah, I think players who can play in different positions are very important in the tournament. So maybe that will be on Eze's side.
Going back to Arsenal, Kay, Ødegaard or Eze for them in the number 10 position?
Like Wayne said, I'm not really concerned. But do you know what I think?
We can't just talk about Man United in England because they're the only things you're concerned about.
No, I'm playing. I think there's so many times I've watched Ødegaard, and where you sometimes wanted a pass in a final third that's a bit more risky, he hasn't provided that, and it's often gone sideways, or he's tried to dribble back and turn. And I think if you give Eze a run of games, we saw what he can do at Crystal Palace. I think if you give Eze a run of games, he's probably a brighter spark in that position than Ødegaard is.
I think just round the penalty box, Eze is a better player, and then a little bit deeper, Ødegaard's a better player than Eze. I think Ødegaard is a very clever player, and he picks up some great positions. His movement is very good. You just want to see a little bit more from him in the final third. So if you can combine the two of them into one, then you have a great player. But yeah, I think the different players for that role, and I think...
Well, for me, the player they should have had, Wayne, was Wanyeri, but they sent him on loan.
He's still a young lad, isn't he? And I think he'll learn from that experience. But yeah, no, I think for me, I'd play Eze over Ødegaard.
Also, I mentioned it before, didn't I, that he loves the North London derby, and you said it, Wayne, like he made a difference in the first game. He's made a difference in this game. 5 of his 6 Premier League goals this season have come against Spurs. Who was your favourite team to play against in your career? Did you have a kind of team that every time you played them, you thought, yes, I'm gonna play well here?
He scored a bit against Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle and Arsenal, I think. Scored quite a few against Arsenal, and we had a good record against them. Villa as well, never lost at Villa Park. So I'd probably say Arsenal just because they're the bigger team out of all of them, and I think I've had some big moments, big goals against Arsenal. I think my first Premier League goal, my 100 Premier League goal. I had the goal which stopped them getting the 50 games unbeaten. So yeah, I think I'd probably say Arsenal.
Does it kind of change when you're going into a game against a team like that? Do you kind of know? You get like, you can kind of like sense it, taste it almost.
Yeah, and the other way as well. I remember under Chelsea under Mourinho, used to hate playing them because they were big, they were physical, they were strong, and you just knew it was always going to be a tough game. And so my record weren't great against them or Liverpool. I think it was my record weren't great.
Was it just the team, or was it the atmosphere as well surrounding it?
No, not so much the atmosphere. Stamford Bridge was never an intimidating atmosphere, really. No, it wasn't. But I think that team under Jose, that was way more intimidating than the atmosphere.
A couple of the players that will get the headlines for different reasons. Firstly, let's start with Declan Rice, because of course he's been so pivotal, been one of Arsenal's players of the season, potentially one of the Premier League's players of the season. But it was his mistake, of course, that gifted Spurs their goal only 24 seconds after the restart from Arsenal scoring. What did you make of that? Because it was quite out of character, Wayne.
Yeah, it's a mistake. I think you make mistakes on the pitch, and the amount of times I think we've probably seen him in there and wriggle out of a tight situation, or pass through it. So he's made a mistake. I think it was probably when he's got the team after he scored and brought the team together, and then he makes the mistake right after it, probably highlights the mistake a little bit more. Obviously, we remember Steven Gerrard as well. A few years back, where it was a similar situation. But yeah, no, I think with Declan, watching him over the last 4 weeks, you can see he's getting animated, and he wants to win that much that sometimes it's not helping him, I feel, over the last few weeks. So I think just to take a deep breath sometimes, and listen, I've been here, I was exactly the same, but sometimes just taking a deep breath and composing yourself will probably help him in this running.
It's tough, isn't it? Because he is that kind of player that what makes him so good is that he plays with that passion and his heart on his sleeve. Kind of different, but in kind of the same way as you, Wayne, in terms of that passion was a big part of what you were as a player.
Yeah, and
well.
I mean that with a compliment in terms of he wants to win that much. That it's probably eating up on him, and you've seen after when they haven't got a good result, there's frustration a little bit at the end of the game, and so yeah, I think just a deep breath.
He does seem like the leader in the team, more so than people like Saka and Ødegaard. He seems more like the leader in that squad.
Maybe what Wayne's saying, Mikel Arteta will know his players really well, and maybe that's why Ødegaard is captain, for example, or club captain. You don't know. You guess.
No, I think sometimes you have different type of captains, and some more vocal. David Beckham, for instance, was a fantastic captain, but was never shouting or where on the other hand you've got Roy Keane, who's completely different. So I think it's knowing your players, knowing your teammates as a captain, and knowing what that individual player needs to help them. I think that's what makes the best captains.
Yeah, and Dex clearly a leader. You see it from the fact that he took those players away into the huddle just before he made his mistake. But yeah.
The one thing I will say about a huddle though is it never bodes well. Do you know what I mean? Like anybody you've seen do a huddle, it never looks good, because if you don't win that game really, really well and have a blinder of a game,
they do in the end.
Yeah, I know.
We started doing them with England, right? As Roy Hodgson brought them in with England, and I always thought, what's the point? What is the point? Because you've said what you need to say in the dressing room. So you go into the huddle and you're basically not even saying anything really. It's just reminders of what you've already just said 2 minutes ago.
I always wonder if it's just to kind of almost intimidate the other team, or to send more a message to the other team than actually. I
think it's more for the fans, isn't it? For your fans, and I've been in some huddles where you've all come in and someone's told a joke. It's because it's just basically a waste of time, really, and I think it's purely for the fans to.
But after a goal, does that make more sense to you, Wayne? Like, as in, no.
No, you celebrate, but I don't get why you go into a huddle.
It's something that's come from American sports, like where they'll do that in American sports because they have timeouts and they actually need to give instructions to each other. Like in football, you don't. I find it performative. That I do find performative.
Yeah, no, you can get messages across after you score. You're walking back to the halfway line or into your own half, and you can get messages across there. You don't have to all come in and do a huddle. Yeah, and I think teams are doing it now where they're waiting at half time, aren't they, and to walk off the pitch together and stuff. Just get off the pitch and go in the dressing room. And it's crazy.
I'm clearly like a gullible football fan that loves they're all getting in the huddle. I like all that, but obviously that's why they do it for fans.
What, do you like it if they put their hands in the middle and go Gooners?
Yeah, like 1, 2, no. Don't.
We used to do that in the MLS.
Really?
Oh, did you? Yeah.
So I thought it
yeah.
was, when I was at DC United, I was captain. So before the game, it's like tradition over there. You do the huddle and what was it you say? On 3, you say it, something, whatever. I can't remember what it was. So I had to do it. I don't know, it was embarrassing.
I'm surprised you didn't say refuse.
My first game for Derby, I was captain.
You didn't do it then?
Everyone's come in and I've done it. always remember Andre Wisdom was just looking at me thinking, what are you doing?
What, so take me on the pitch you were doing it, like paint a picture,
Yeah.
Wayne?
But I must have just been used to doing it at DC, yeah.
Go Rams! Go Rams!
Did you feel like a bit of an idiot when you
Oh, yeah.
realised where you were and you never did it again, I'm presuming?
No.
Did anyone ask you about it after, like, Wayne, what was that?
They were just laughing, yeah. I explained what it was and then, yeah, they were laughing, yeah.
Oh, we need to find some footage of that. Someone would have got footage of it somewhere. Victor Gyökeres, Wayne, because you've spoken quite highly of him and said that you do like him as a player. And obviously he's had difficult periods to his start at Arsenal, but it does look like now he's coming to his own, with a lot of people saying today was his best performance.
I think the game's changed slightly in terms of you're getting a lot of the goal scorers come from the sides. And when people were talking about Arsenal needing a number 9, I think they've needed a number 9 to give them what he's given them. Not necessarily the goals, but what he has given them. There was a point in the game today, it was 2-1, and I think it was Declan Rice actually cleared the ball down the line with his left foot, and he just ran and challenged for it, wins a throw-in high up the pitch, and it's little things like that which make a big difference to the team. That's why I've said all season, really, I like what can he score more goals? Yeah, I think he can. But I like what he's given to the team and maybe a bit more freedom and space for maybe the more creative players. So yeah, I think he's been a plus for Arsenal. I know, and I get why people maybe don't think he has, but I like what he's given to the team.
What did you make of the 2 finishes today as well? Because they were top class finishes in a big game.
Yeah, there was. I think both goals. Second goal in particular is his strength and a great finish off that. His first goal, touch and finish from the edge of the box. So yeah, I think Gary Neville said to me it's his best game. I haven't watched every game of Arsenal this season, but I think it's as good as I've probably seen him yet.
As for Arsenal overall, then there's been a lot of noise this week, hasn't there? And that phrase, which I absolutely hate in general, are Arsenal bottling it. Has today done enough, do you think, Kay, to dampen that noise?
There's still so many games left. I don't think anybody should be getting carried away. But all they can do is keep winning. And not listen to anybody else when they're losing and stuff as well, because that's only going to derail you. But look, they've been playing wonderfully all season. They've had a few hiccups. That's bound to happen. All the great sides have had that before. But for them, I think this needs to be the year where they finally get over the line. They can't be second all the time. But I don't think Man City are as good as everybody else is making out. I mean, they had a decent win yesterday as well. But yeah, look, all they can do is keep doing what they're doing. And if they go like this, then yeah, they're bound to win the champion. They're bound to be champions, sorry.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta said post-match, Wayne, that he saw it in the players' eyes that they were going to react after Wolves. He had no doubts that today he was going to get the performance. Obviously, it's easy to say that when he's won, but did you feel from what you saw today that they have kind of put that little blip behind them and they've got enough to go all the way?
Yeah, I think the Wolves game, they were poor. There's no denying that. They didn't deserve to win the game, I feel. And you get them games, and the run into to win the title, it could change so quickly. I remember I think we were 7 points clear with 4 games to go, and lost the title. We drew with Everton at home 4-4, then we lost to Wigan, then we lost to City, and all of a sudden the season's over and you've lost the title. So it could change so quick. So I think both teams, City and Arsenal, will both drop points from now to the end of the season. It's who handles that better. and the experience of Guardiola and a few players in there might help them. But I think the quality of Arsenal, and they do look like they've got a strong backbone in there, and they've had a few results this season where they've been criticised, but they've bounced back every time. So it's going to be an interesting run-in. I think just whoever handles the next defeat or the next draw better will go on to win it.
It's also fascinating because it kind of depends who plays first in the weekend. It's like, so they've done their job, now over to you, and vice versa. And it was Man City, of course, who played first this weekend, Wayne. We heard your analysis on Match of the Day, but just give us an overview of what you made of their performance against Newcastle.
It was a good game. I really enjoyed the City-Newcastle game. Obviously, Nico O'Reilly, I thought was excellent, playing more of a number 10 in possession, and his composure and his, I mentioned it yesterday, his patience in that position. The hardest thing for me, I think, in football, hardest thing to do is to stand still. I know that might sound a bit mad, but the hardest thing to do is stand still and let everyone else move and then actually create space for you.
I'd be a really good footballer. I'm good at standing still.
No, but and that's what Nico O'Reilly was doing really well yesterday. And then Haaland, I thought was like a man possessed, weren't he, at times, and he went into centre back and he was there for about 5 minutes. And then, but I think his game's adjusted slightly as well. He's picking up different positions. He played a lot more towards the right yesterday, and maybe we're seeing more of a complete player with him.
There's a lot said, isn't there, about players having to adapt to Pep's style when they come in and learning the way they have to play, but I guess it must be the same for the players that are already there. And it feels like with the players that City have brought, your likes of Semenyo, maybe Haaland's had to relearn a little bit. Do you think that's been the case?
Yeah, well, I think if you look straight away, Semenyo was coming into a number 10 position yesterday. You see where Bernardo Silva started with Pep to where he is now. We've seen John Stones at centre-back, we've seen him in midfield, O'Reilly at left-back in midfield, in a number 10 position. So I think good football players can play in different positions, and I think when Pep sees something in a player, I think that's where you give him a lot of credit, because he's not afraid to change the position and put them in there. And Nick O'Reilly's keeping Phil Foden out the team, and so when we go back to talking about England, he's certainly going to be in the squad, I think.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it, Kay, as an England fan, to see a project, or one of Pep's projects, as Wayne said there. He's English, and it should potentially benefit us this summer.
Yeah, I hope it continues. That's the one thing. I'm always a bit weary of piling the pressure on a young player after they have a couple of good performances. But that was a fantastic performance, and if it continues, then yeah, why not? You've got someone for the future. But I just feel like with Pep, sometimes he'll get someone that has a great performance, plays a decent way, and then they're out of the team for 6 weeks. And you know what I mean? So
just going back to our Phil Foden chat.
No, but you just can't get too excited about it too quickly. It'd be if he carries on the form he's shown, hopefully. Then,
that's what happens when you've got that many players, though, that many good players. You've got the luxury of picking and choosing for certain games.
What's his best position, Wayne? Where do you think he'll end up?
I really enjoyed him in that 10 position, midfield number 10 position yesterday. And I think for the size of him as well, you look at his header goal, it was a really well-timed running towards the back post and a great header. Physically, I think I don't think he's a left back, like a natural left back. You've seen his run for his first goal, his timing and his header for the second goal. So yeah, I really liked him in that position yesterday. I'd need to see more of him in there, of course, but I liked him there yesterday.
Could we be talking about him as a starter though, Wayne, for England?
I think with Tuchel, you don't know, do you? You don't know what he's going to do, and probably not, I'd say. But you look at Morgan Rogers is a perfect example of that, and he started the last few games. He's been really good, and I'm probably expecting him to start the first game of the tournament. So I think all you've got to do is try and make sure you're in the next squad, and you get your opportunity to take him.
Okay, so there's plenty at stake, obviously, for both of these teams and players that could feature for England in the summer. But the title race, it looks like, I don't want to jinx it and everything go wrong now, but it looks like this could be a title race for the ages, and it could potentially go down to the final day, couldn't it, Wayne?
Yeah, it could. I don't think it will, but...
Well, of course, there's also that big game, isn't there, at the Etihad? I think it's April the 18th. And you pointed out on our show the other week, didn't you, about the fact that they could meet in the Champions League as well. They've got the EFL Cup final too. There's so many twists and turns ahead.
Yeah, I genuinely think one team's going to fall off it. But I don't know which team.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, it could be... I think one will pull away.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think whoever just gets that momentum coming towards the end of the season, I think someone will win it by 6 to 7 points.
How much do you think the EFL Cup final could play into it as well? Because psychologically, could that affect the team that loses?
No, it helps, obviously, if you win. It's always nice to win trophies. And I know sometimes that trophy gets a little bit disrespected. I loved winning that trophy. It was the first trophy I won as a professional footballer, and I thought it was a different name. I think it was the Carling Cup then, or something like that. Whoever wins it gives them that momentum, and you get one over. Probably more importantly in terms of the title race on your closest rival.
It's just so good for the neutral, though, isn't it, Kay? Like
psychologically, it's great. I think. When you had managers like Mourinho when he first come in, and he loved to win that trophy because it gets the players used to winning, and I think that trophy is a lot more important for the Arsenal players than it is for the Man City players. I think a lot of the Man City players are used to winning, whereas I think a lot of these Arsenal players haven't won anything. So if they win that trophy, it's gonna bode well for them for the rest of the season. Whereas if they don't, I think it could be more of the same.
Well, Ange Postecoglou said something this week, and we know his record when it comes to winning trophies. And he said, sometimes we forget that winning trophies is actually what it's all about. And it is, isn't it, Wayne? There's no better feeling as a footballer.
Yeah, no, they're the moments that's what you play for. I know you get Champions League, for finishing top 10 now, something like that. But yeah, no, when you win a trophy and that feeling, that when you're celebrating with your teammates, that's what you're playing the game for, and to try and win trophies. And obviously, I've been very fortunate to win a few. You know, there's players...
A whole basement's worth of trophies, man.
There's players who have the whole... Thousands of players who've had the whole careers who've never won a trophy. And when you look back, no one's going to be bothered if you say, oh, but we finished 4th in the season. So... winning trophies is what you're in the game to try and do, and take a trophy over finishing 3rd or 4th in the league any day.
Well, you don't really remember those, do you? Imagine you remember the trophies.
No.
Right? Just quickly as well, Wayne, did you hear that Pep was asked about your comments?
No.
Yeah, you obviously said that you hope he stays in the Premier League, and he said it's a huge honour when compliments come from players who've been involved in the game. And Wayne, what a player at United, at Everton. I think football in this country, there are thousands of huge personalities who make the sport better, and Wayne has been one of them.
That's nice.
Well, it is, isn't it? Coming from a City legend.
Yeah, no, I think Pep is someone who, I think when he does eventually leave and go back to Spain or whatever, or he might stay in Manchester, I don't know. I think you'll look back at it and think he's changed the way football is played in this country. I think it's the biggest compliment you can give him. When he was coming into the league, you know, he was getting questioned that you can't play this way in England, and now all of a sudden you're seeing non-league teams trying to play the same way, and the trophies he's won. And yeah, of course, I wouldn't have liked him to win them with Man City, but I think you've got to respect him for what he's done, not just in England, but obviously in Spain and in Germany as well. And he's certainly one of the best in the history of the game, for sure.
Kay, does it make you feel uncomfortable when you hear a United legend complimenting a City one?
Nah, look, I mean, sometimes you've got to look at it from the bigger picture. He's done a lot in the game, and Wayne's a legend, so you can't really argue with a lot of his opinions, can you?
Also, just quickly before we go, I just wanted to ask how much of the day was on Saturday, Wayne, because you've become a bit of a social media star, haven't you?
Well, do you know what? It was just with the company with Mika and Chappers, it was getting a bit boring in there. So.
You were just there to spice things up,
Yeah,
get them
just thought
laughing.
I'd,
Long old day.
Bring a little bit of energy in there. And no, it was funny actually because for some reason I just couldn't pronounce his name.
Go on, have you learnt it now?
No, I'm not even trying.
Stoke.
I called him Stoke, I think.
Yes, you did.
And I asked about 20 times before we went on air, how do you pronounce his name? And then Mika said, if you've got to struggle with it, just say the centre back. I said, no, I'm fine, I've got it. As soon as I started it, his name just went out of my head. And then I completely lost my analysis on everything I was doing because I was thinking.
Could you see them laughing at you as well, or because it looked like you'd gone towards the screen?
I could feel them laughing, and then I think Chappers went as well on his next link. But yeah, no, listen, it happened. But I was trying to think of his name, and then the actual piece of analysis I was doing, I've completely got away from it. I was just like numbing my head. So I was thinking, oh my God. But no, it happened, and it won't be the last time.
Yeah, the beauty of live TV, I guess.
Yeah.
But Kay, you actually picked up on someone that was complimentary of Wayne, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I saw Henry Winter being very complimentary to Wayne, which is, I mean, as a respected journalist, it's always a bit nice to see that. Yeah, he was full of high praise for Wayne. And I agreed with the high praise because he mentioned a podcast. So I was like, yeah, he's bang on with that.
Wayne, how have you found the transition to Match of the Day? Are you like getting used to it? Because as someone that's presented it as well, I obviously present a variety of different things, and I have so much respect. I don't think people realise how hard it is, the analysis on Match of the Day, because you've watched every game. It's a long day, which you've said before on here, and then you have such a short amount of time to nail that bit of analysis. It's quite a skill, isn't it?
It's definitely the toughest one I've done. Obviously, in the past, I've done Sky, I've done TNT, Premier League productions, Amazon. Match of the Day is the toughest by far, but it's something which I want to do. I want to get better at. I know I'm not, at the level I want to be at the minute with it, but I want to learn. I want to improve and get better. So you're gonna have to stick with me.
But also, it's nice, isn't it, when you see like someone like Henry Winter. Henry Winter wouldn't go out of his way and say it if he didn't think it. And
yeah, well, do you know? Well, even yesterday we watched the Man City game. So from the time that finished, it was 10 o'clock. You've got to go and get a shower, get changed. And so literally as it's going on, you're still doing all the prep. As Match of the Day started, as they're showing the highlights of the game, you're doing your prep still. So it's and then
the adrenaline must be going.
You come on in, and you've got like 90 seconds to break something down. So it's a lot tougher than what people would think. So I think fair play to the lads who've been there for years and stuck with it, because it's tough, but it's very enjoyable as well.
Yeah, it's rewarding. I think when you get it right, you can see when I've seen it when the pundits nail the analysis. There's like a real sense of it, because it's really hard. It's only like 20 or 30 seconds. And I'm sometimes like, how have you just got that through? So yeah, I've got the easy job.
I don't think some people appreciate like that. What Wayne's saying there, like the short turnaround time you've got to make something that's sometimes quite complicated, make it sound simple for people like us watching, going, oh right, yeah, I see what he was doing. Yeah,
but what I will say is there's a lot of the staff in the background who are doing an incredible job, the analysis lads and producers and stuff who do an incredible job to try and make it as easy as possible for us as well. So there's a big team effort to try and get the show right over the weekend.
All right, that's enough backslapping now. We've been too nice now, but yeah.
I'm going in for new contract anyway the next year. So
well, hopefully we've just helped you out there, Wayne. But yeah, it was certainly interesting watching Match of the Day last night. Okay, well, have a good week, guys. A reminder, you can listen to the Wayne Rooney Show on BBC Sounds, or you can watch it on the BBC Sport iPlayer or YouTube, and we'll be back on Friday.